Hi, everyone, and welcome for tonight's free webinar with Alyssa Dazet, How to Increase Your Business During the Holiday or Slow Season. And I am so excited to have you here tonight, all of you, and Alyssa. It's been amazing so far. So for those of you that don't know, my name is Natalia Morrison. I am the executive assistant for Florida State Oriental Medical Association. And these free webinars are organized by the association for our Building Better Business Practice Management webinar series. And so today we have Alyssa Dazet, which I am super, super excited about to have. She has the best personality. She is super sweet, and she was actually highly recommended to me by the one and only Peter Dedman. And as some of you know, Peter and I did an interview series or an interview on his trust fund, the Chinese Medicine Forestry Trust. And prior to that interview, he asked me a personal question, and he said, well, how do you feel about being an acupuncturist? And after I gave him my answer, he said, you know who you need to talk to? Alyssa Dazet. She is incredible. She has this amazing ability to help guide someone in their practice, give them the clarity that they need, inspire them, and help our community fulfill their goals and get to where they want to go. So immediately I said, well, I don't know Alyssa personally. I do sign up for her email. She has this wonderful email list. Mondays, you get like an inspirational email with all these cute little quotes and stories and things like that, which are really fun. And she responded to me, and I was just so excited. So without further ado, I am so excited for you guys. You're gonna enjoy this. You're gonna love her. Here is Alyssa Dazet with you.
Thank you. Oh. Such a beautiful intro.
It's all
right. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. And yes, I have the Mindset Monday mail. And so, yeah, that comes out. I make sure it comes out every Monday, and it's got like 3 inspirational business tips. And yeah, a lot of it's like my personal experience, what I share from coaching acupuncturists, little videos I've made, any events coming up, all that stuff. So please join that for your inspiration every Monday. You can get it on my website, which I think we've linked it somewhere. Okay, so as I was telling you before we got on live, so anybody watching, I love to interact. So make sure if you have any questions, anything that you're specifically struggling with, any mindset blocks that are coming up, let us know in the chat box. And ask any questions that you have, because I'm here to teach, but also let's do some coaching for this hour. So if anybody has anything specific that you're stuck on, let me know, because I love interacting with everybody, especially just talking to a computer screen. So it makes it fun when people ask questions. All right, so let's talk about increasing your business during the holiday slow season. I always say slow in quotes because it is just a mindset. If you follow my work, you know that I talk all the time about mindset stuff. Mindset really, truly is everything with your practice. So I have my 6-figure acupuncturist online course, and we have a private support group that goes with that course. And year after year, the acupuncturists in my private support group have the busiest times of year during the slow season. So there's something going on here, like why are these guys having the busiest time of year when a lot of other people in our profession are struggling? And it really, truly comes down to what you choose to believe in your reality. I mean, and, you know, we're going to talk about some of that energy stuff today and mindset stuff. And, you know, if you're just getting started in this world, it can sound a little like airy fairy, you know, but it is legit, you know, and it comes down to be as simple as like, because your words are constantly creating your world. So if you are constantly talking about how worried you are that you're going to be slow, you're complaining about people canceling their appointments, you know, and it's a lot of negativity and heavy talk and heavy energy, there's no way that that can't impact your world. You know, we're energy workers. So we know that when we come in contact with, you know, let's just say like a very negative, heavy patient, that feels very different to us than a very positive and light patient. You know, when you walk into a room and you have like a weird feeling, you know, all that stuff is energy. It's really, really real. And I want you to start to take that into account with what's impacting the busyness of your practice. And so during this time of year, there are just so many, what do you call it? Like, not rumors, but I can't think of the word at the moment, but there's so many people talking about how this time of year is the slow time of year. And so that energy can penetrate you and create that in your world unless you're really aware of it. So the first thing is what you choose to believe. You know, if you choose to believe that this is a slow time of year, then it's very likely going to be a slow time of year for you. But if you choose to believe that this is a very busy time of year, you know, because people actually have more time off during the holidays, they're more stressed out during the holidays, you know, they have holiday blues. So there's actually so many more reasons, along with so much more extra time and a lot of extra people around because family comes into town. So it's actually an incredible time for business. You know, so it's really important to take a look at what are you thinking in your head, you know, and shift it to the abundant and positive side. So patients really need your help this time of year, you know, more than any other time of year. And it, like, you know, like I was saying, people really do have holiday blues. You know, that's a real thing. People really do get stressed out around their families. You know, people have digestive issues from eating the wrong thing, all kinds of stuff. So think about the abundance of people that need you during this time of year, you know, versus the other side of the mindset is you could say that people are busy, you know, people don't have time, people don't have the money because they're spending it on gifts. You know, that's the other side of the mindset. That's one side that a lot of people believe. And then that shows up in your practice. But every single moment is 50-50. You know, you get to believe whatever you want to believe. So why not believe this side instead of this side? You know, and I always encourage people to just like play around with it. You know, play around with like really believing this other side, that there are so many more patients that need me right now, and play around with that for a week. Even if it feels fake to you, just remind yourself every day, people really need me during this time of year. People are going to be calling me during this time of year. My favorite patients are going to bring their family members in during this time of year. Play around with those mindsets on repeat in your head, even if it feels like fake and forced to you, and then see what happens in your practice, because good things are going to happen. Let me know if you play around with that. We're on December 10th, you know, so we have like, what, 3 weeks left to this year. And, you know, the last 3 weeks can really fill up. So, checking out my notes here. Okay, so one thing that I want to bring to your mind, though, is that you could be slowing down during this time of year because you're the one that's stressed out, you know, and you're the one that gets the holiday blues, and you're the one that's busy with your family. Because a lot of times when acupuncturists slow down in their practices, it's actually because of some subconscious messages that they're sending out into the world that manifests in the world. And for instance, what I mean is, I can't tell you how many times I have spoken with acupuncturists whose practice has slowed down, but on what's happening in their personal life is like they're feeling exhausted, or they're feeling kind of burnt out, or they're feeling like they need a vacation, and so it's like the universe indirectly giving them what they want. And so you could be slowing down during the holiday season because it's indirectly what you want also. Some people do just want to spend more time with your family during this time. You don't want to be in the office all the time, so I highly encourage you to just start to observe what your brain is thinking all day, and what messages are you telling yourself? And then is that what you're seeing happening in your reality around you? So I know I said that this sounds like airy-fairy, but it's actually very scientific. So I learned a lot about quantum physics of the universe. I love that stuff. And earlier this year, I just went to CERN, which is in Geneva, Switzerland, and it is the largest particle scientific laboratory in the world. So this is like hardcore science. Again, at this laboratory, I heard the message that I've heard before, that only 5% of our world is made up of matter. Matter is everything hard that we see, that you can touch. Anything that makes up anything is matter. That's 5% of our world. And 95% of our world is energy. 95%. And they say that they still don't have any conclusive way of studying this energy. So that's science we're talking about. That is the largest scientific laboratory in the world told me this. So 95% of our world is made up of energy. 5% is matter. So that means, that all this stuff we're talking about, all of our mindsets, all of our thoughts, positive energy, negative energy, all of that 95% of the world affects and impacts and creates our 5% of the world. And that's why all of being so aware of your thoughts all the time is so important. You work with energy, you feel energy, energy heals bodies. So energy is real. It's a real thing in our world. And it's so important to utilize the energy of the world to create what you want. And we do that through our minds, through our mindsets, through being super aware of what we're letting in and what we're projecting out. So I want everybody to set an intention and a goal for the rest of this year, and how many patients do you want? How busy do you want to be? How much time off do you want for the holidays? Set a goal for exactly what you want to happen. Get as super specific as you can, and then visualize that every day. This is a perfect time of year to experiment with this. I love doing human experiments, and so I always encourage people, like, do an experiment, see what happens. Why not? And so for the rest of this year, for this month, I encourage you to do this experiment. Get super specific what you want to happen. And remember to always connect with the feeling of how it's going to feel. So for instance, be like, I want to treat, let's say, I don't know, how many more patients? 70 more patients for the rest of the year. I want to do 70 treatments, for the rest of this month in 3 weeks. And that is going to feel so exciting. It will just feel like so freeing. There's so much freedom to that. I'll feel so valued. However you feel, because we all feel different ways. There's no wrong way of feeling. Some people will feel like a boss if that happens, and some people will just feel like so grateful if that happens. However you feel, it's okay, but connect in with how that's going to feel for you. If that's a word, don't say if, when your practice is full for the rest of the year. and visualize that every single day. So I do my visualizations in the morning. I meditate every morning, and after my meditation, I visualize for like 5 minutes. What you want to do with visualization is you want to connect it to something that you do every single day so that you don't forget to do it. And you can connect it to things that you do regularly anyway. You know, like I used to visualize in the shower because I knew that I would be showering almost every day. Some days I skip, but most days I shower. So every day in the shower, I would do my visualization work. And, you know, don't force anything. It doesn't have to be any specific amount of time. You know, it doesn't have to look like anything specific. It doesn't have to be like, it's not like set in stone. Your visualization could look and feel different every single day. You know, don't overthink it. Just practice keeping your mind focused on what you want, because our minds automatically go to what we don't want. It's just how we're programmed as humans. It's annoying because we have to keep it, you know, practice to keep it on the other side. But you can keep it on the other side with practice. So think of your visualization as that, as practicing your brain to stay connected with what you want. And then, like I said, see what happens, because you'll see that your patients are going to start to contact you, and more people are going to start to be talking to you in public and stuff, and you're going to get more patients in your practice. I see this over and over and over and over and over again with the acupuncturists that I work with, and I've experienced it too. So that is the first part. Mindset, mindset, mindset. You know, what are you keeping your brain focused on? And what are you allowing in? What messages are you allowing in? You know, and this is a second very important part to this, because the fact is that there are just a lot of people that complain about this time of year. You know, they complain it's the slow period. They complain that their patients, you know, are on vacation, you know, complain. It's just the facts. You know, like I said, a lot of people are just, we're naturally programmed that way. And that's why you really want to be conscious to keep yourself on the other side of that. So having a support group during all year, but, you know, specifically during this time of year, you know, is really important, because there is definitely momentum in a collective. You know, when you have a group of people that are all practicing the same mindsets and rooting each other on, and, you know, helping each other out if you have like a little low day, or you're having trouble, you know, keeping your mind in the positive place, they inspire you, you know, they support you. That's really important. You know, a lot of us are out here just trying to do everything on our own. And there's no need for that, you know, and we shouldn't do that. We need to continuously come together in community in order to help each other and help each other prosper and grow. And so during this time of year is exactly, you know, a perfect time of year to join forces with people of positive, similar, growth-minded, success-minded mindsets. You know, take a look at who's in your, you know, world, and are they very positive-minded right now about this time of year, or are they complaining about it being a slow time of year, complain about how little patience they have? Or are they like, you know, yes, you know, another patient just contacted me, I know more are coming, you know. So really be conscious of who you're listening to. What is the input that you're getting? You know, like I said, I have the support group for my 6-figure online program. But, you know, you have to be in my online program in order to be in the group. And so if you're not in my world, in there, you know, create a group yourself, you know, like just, you know, we all have acupuncture friends or colleagues. I mean, most of us, you know, from school. If not, you can connect with people online, you know, connect with people right here in the chat box, you know. Everybody in the chat box, make a support group right now. And then, you know, set the intention of your little group. It can be just 2 of you guys. It can be, you know, a bunch of you guys. But set an intention, set some goals, and then support each other, you know, and watch, because like magic happens when you have a really positive, success-minded support group. It is just so, so, so powerful. So, you know, during this time of year, particularly, you know, make sure that you have someone in your corner that really believes in the prosperity and the abundance of this time of year, the same as you do. Or, you know, follow my work, you know, follow me too online. I'm constantly like sending out these messages, you know, follow my email list. I'm sending out the messages all the time to program you. But just make sure that you don't isolate. It's such a huge problem in our profession is isolation. And the negative mindsets that come with that, you know, being lonely, feeling hopeless, and really not understanding how to navigate through challenging times in your practice, which makes sense because it's not something that we learn in school. But there are definitely like specific ways and mindsets and systems that you can navigate through challenging times in your practice. So just get a support group. Okay, so next up, how do you want to, so the first steps is getting your mind in the right place, because that's everything. Because you can learn like all the systems in the world, and it doesn't matter unless your mindset is in the right space first. So that's why pay attention, observe what you're listening to, get people that support you, and then you want to start to take some action. Also do your visualizations, then take action. So there are several ways that you can take actions during this time of year to get patients in your office. The first way is one of my favorite ways, and it's my tune-up email. If you haven't heard about this before on any of my live webinars, any of that, it is so effective, super simple to do, and so many people don't do it. So we're going to talk about it now. So you can never, ever, ever, ever contact your patient too much. You can contact them too little. And of course, take that with a grain of salt. If you are texting your patient every hour, 24 hours a day, that's contacting them too much. But nobody's going to do that. So most of us don't contact our patients enough. I think that, you know, the statistic used to be that someone has to see your messages like 7 times or something before they respond to it. But I think these days it's something like 14 times, something crazy like that, because we're so overloaded with information. That, though, is one of the reasons why you can never contact your patient too much. You know, I'm an email person. And so you just cannot email your patients too much. Most of the time, you know, if you send out like 100 emails, maybe 20% of them will be seen, you know, and that's like a high percentage. So you cannot email too much for so many reasons. And that's because a lot of times it doesn't even go in people's inbox, you know, they just delete it. They don't even notice who it's from. It gets lost in the mess of other people's emails. It just gets lost in emails. They don't even like delete it. So many reasons. And a lot of acupuncturists are so afraid of contacting their patients. They're afraid that they feel like they're bothering them, or they're being pushy, or they're going to feel salesy. And again, this is a really important mindset to be aware of. I want you all that are watching to start to observe your mindsets. Such an important part of becoming a long-term, sustainable, successful practice is observing your mindsets and what emotions get triggered in you when you're doing specific tasks or giving treatments in your practice, because we all have different emotions that are triggered in us. And it's our job to figure out what's triggering me, what's stopping me, and then, then you can get help or support or something to work through it. So people get triggered a lot when it comes to contacting their patients. There's also a part of this that people don't contact their patients because they are afraid of not getting an answer back, and then that hurts their self-worth. Because they feel not good enough, or whatever reason they make up in their head for why that person didn't get back to them. And we're talking about all this stuff because it's normal. Like, it's okay to feel any of these ways. It's okay to feel whatever emotion you feel. It's okay to feel whatever trigger you come up in you. The thing is, they're not real. They're just programming from something that happened in your past. And it got programmed into your mind a certain way. And so the more that we can see what gets triggered in us, then the less that we are going to actually be it. Because once you understand what gets triggered in you, then you can just remind yourself that this is a trigger that happens when you do this event. It doesn't mean anything, and you can just move beyond it. So for instance, if you go to send out tune-up emails, which I'm going to tell you about in a minute, and you feel yourself feeling like super nervous and resistant and, afraid that nobody's going to get back to you, and that starts to hurt your confidence, and you're recognizing all these uncomfortable feelings coming up in you, it's okay. That's what we want. We want you to recognize these feelings that are coming up in you and then be like, hey, it's okay that I feel that way. I'm going to send out tune-up emails anyway. Because the only way to start to process through all these disempowering emotions that stop us from success in our practice is to work through them like that. So the first step, that's like a whole other course that I could teach on that, which actually I have a course coming out in January, if you haven't heard, on that actually. Emotional intelligence for practice success, because there's so much of the emotional side of building a practice that gets in our way. And I finally collected all of it into one course together. That's what I just did my live workshop on in London too. It was amazing. So anyway, it's a huge part of what stops us from success. So always, always, always be observing these emotions that get triggered in you when you go to take action in your practice. And it's okay, whatever you observe them, and then still do the systems and everything and the mindsets that we talk about. So with tune-up emails are very simple, short little emails that you write to anyone that has ever been a patient to you, ever. So a lot of acupuncturists I talk to, they treat someone and then they finish their little treatment plan, and then they never contact that patient again. That blows my mind because, wow, it's not think of yourself. How many things continuously come up that you could get an acupuncture treatment for? Digestive insomnia, stress, skin issues, anything, your menstruation for women, something always comes up that you can get acupuncture treatments for. And so when an acupuncturist treats a patient once and then finishes and completes that treatment and then never contacts them again, that's bananas, you guys. That patient is now in your care for the rest of your life. Basically, you can build a successful practice, and basically it's like your little family then for the rest of your life that you're taking care of. And you get to look out for these people. You get to know or let them know that you're there for them, that anytime they need anything, you can help them. Even if sometimes it's not even your acupuncture treatment. Sometimes people just need some type of health advice for something else, or some type of referral somewhere else. Just start to think of it as we're here to be of service to our patients, and to just let them know that we care for them and we're here to support them. And we do that by continuously staying in touch with them, by continuously letting them know that we're there for them. Because remember, even if you send them an email, they might not read it. You might send 5 emails and then finally they'll read the 5th one and they'll be like, oh yeah, I do need an acupuncture appointment. That would feel great. So don't be afraid about contacting your patients. I think that it's such a beautiful thing that we get to do as acupuncturists because, Western doctors aren't doing this, like it's just turn and burn for those guys because they're so busy. And there's a lot of disconnect in the Western world from humanity is how I feel about Western medicine. Most of it is not at all from this compassionate, caring human side of the medicine. And I think it's so beautiful that we get to have these relationships with our patients from that point of view. And so think of it as your patients are like your family now that you get to take care of forever. So with tune-up system, this is something that you can do all year round, but at this time of year, it's so super important to do, particularly for things like I told you about, like people are stressed out, people's family are in town, people are eating too much sugar and rich things, people have the holiday blues, and so you want to reach out to them and let them know, let them know that you're there for them. So during this time of year, you can send an easy little email that basically just says, backstep, an important part to these emails is that this isn't something that is a bulk email. This is an individual email that you're sending to each patient. Every few months in your office, I highly recommend you do this. Just go through chart by chart by chart. And anyone who is not in your office currently, send them an email. Even if it's someone that you haven't seen in years, send them an email because people come back years later. As long as you continue to stay in touch with them, continue to open the door to them, like people will continue to come back to you, I promise. So you want to send out an individual email. You can basically make a template, and just switch out names and a little bit of different things in the email. But you still want to make sure that it comes individually from you to them because again, it's a personal thing. It's an intimate business that we're building. It's like taking care of your family. And so when it's a bulk email message, then it is less personal. It is less of a relationship builder. People will delete those more. They won't respond to them more because they're like, man, this came from, a computer, so make sure that you send these out individually. So in this message, you can, so not with MailChimp or Constant Contacts. That is such a great question because just on Wednesday, I think, I'm actually doing a little presentation with, Unified Practice that just integrated with Constant Contact. And apparently, in Constant Contact, there is a way to send out individual messages. I don't know about MailChimp. You probably can actually just send out individual messages. But yeah, you don't want to do like a bulk message. That's a great question because I have acupuncturists that try and do the bulk message, even though I teach them the other way, and it doesn't get the same response because our business is all about relationship building. It's all about building trust, building relationship, and truly caring about that person in front of you and their well-being and their health and how are they feeling. It's such a blessing that we get to help people, feel better and live in states of wellness. And so, we have healer hurts. So like we want people to feel good. So the individual emails are really just so much more of a relationship builder. But yes, a great question because I think that there is options now to do that. I used to just use my Gmail. And I know that acupuncturists, I'm pretty sure that acupuncturists do use a lot of systems these days because you can send out individual emails. The MailChimp and the Constant Contact do just for awareness sake will often more times not go into someone's direct email box. So if you do have Gmail or something just send it out with Gmail. So you want to talk about in this email, it's very short, but remember, one of the things that keeps people out of our offices is because they don't know why to come in for treatments. And so when you make suggestions to them about what they might be dealing with this time of year, then that's just like oh yeah, that is happening. And I didn't know I could go to acupuncture for that. So send out a little email message to all of your patients. I'm telling you, all of them. Like, today is the 10th. Set a number of emails that you're going to send out, every single day for the rest of the year, if you can, or how many a week. I mean, like, because if you have a template, it's very easy to just send out like 50 emails in like 10 minutes, I called all the POCs I haven't seen in, the patients I haven't seen in a few weeks and left them voicemails. Most of them responded, maybe 20% of them scheduled again. Yes, giving me opportunities for package sales. Go you. That's what I'm talking about. And I love when you talk in the chat box. And that's what's exciting is that, us acupuncturists, so many people don't realize that you just have to reach out and people are going to schedule with you. It's really that simple, you guys. Like, it's that simple. I feel like it's so easy for me to be a coach. No, because I'm like, reach out to your patients, scheduling. No, no, it's all about mindset and intention and all that stuff too. But in these messages or calls, calls are great too. Text messages, even sometimes people use text messages these days. Whatever way that you communicate with your patients and that you're comfortable with, use it. Try it a few different ways, see what responses that you get. And, you can tell them, hey, checking in with you this time of year, I know it can be, stressful, or some people deal with holiday blues. Let me know if you need anything. I'd love to have you in the office. Love Alyssa. But just something short, and sweet like that, showing genuine, authentic care and concern and understanding of what they might be going through this time of year. You can also suggest, in the message, it's a great time of year, to bring in your family members. It helps relieve family stress, anything like that. Also, you can talk about, because again, you could send out an email for the last 3 weeks. You could send out 3 emails to the same person for the rest of this month. Again, you cannot email people too much. The main thing is just to take action and start to let people know that you are available for them. You can talk about if people are having a hard time figuring out what to give for a gift, give a gift certificate to your office. Give a gift certificate for your aunt to come on in and get a treatment from you while she's in town visiting for Christmas. A lot of us too have personal relationships with our patients. We know what's happening in their personal lives. And so if you know something, if you know that someone has a really hard time with their mom and they were so nervous about, seeing them for Christmas or something like that, mention it in a loving, caring way in the email message. Say, hey, just checking in during the holiday season. I know that we talked about your mom. If you want to come in for any stress relief, I'd love to have you in the office. Or if you want to send her in to chill her out, it'd be great to take care of her too. Let me know if you'd like to come in for a tune-up. Love, Alyssa. Boom. Anything like that. Show care and concern and compassion and understanding for your patient. Really write these little messages, it's like writing to your friends. I love having a relationship like this with patients, because it's just, again, it's such a beautiful thing that we just get to care for another human being, and help them, especially during the holiday season. So you can easily, if you don't want to get, you can also write a template is what I'm going to say. So you could say, let's just make one up now. You could say, hey, patient's name, checking in with you during the holiday season, period. I'm making it up now in my head. We are going on the spot because I'm looking at all my notes and putting them together. It's a great time of year. Acupuncture helps so much during this time of year for holiday stress, holiday blues, or overeating all of the rich, delicious Christmas cookies. I'd love to have you in the office. Let me know if you'd like a tune-up. Love, Alyssa. That right there can be a template. You can write that to every single patient, just change out the name, and send that from your email to their email directly, and send out like 50 of them in, 15 minutes. You probably could do that. You probably could, because it's just a copy, click, paste kind of thing. So when you're utilizing tune-up emails, it is great to mention something personal, that between you and that patient. You don't have to, though. Again, if you just want to make it quick and easy, just write that little template to everybody. Suggest what they could be going through, suggest that acupuncture can help with this, and then add a little PS, because apparently the PS is one of the most read things in emails. And so, put PS. If you're having a hard time figuring out what to give your family for Christmas, give them a gift certificate, come on in for a treatment. Something like that, so make suggestions like that. And don't be afraid to be direct. Being direct is so important. Oh, good. I'm glad you love that. Thanks for chatting with me. A lot of us too are scared and hesitant to be direct. Again, it's just programming. It's just a way that you are defining what being direct means. Did you catch that? That's super important. A lot of us are afraid of being direct for a lot of reasons. Whether we define it by being pushy, by being salesy, by being annoying. It's however you define it. Instead, why don't you switch that and define being direct as being helpful, as being clear, as being a vessel, for the message of what acupuncture can do. That was a little bit extreme. It came to me. So, watch how you're defining things, because your definitions are what make up your entire world. So don't be afraid of being direct in these messages, and suggesting, hey, get a gift certificate for someone to come in while they're in town and while they're stressing you out. Get them in to chill out. So tune-up emails are going to be like, just so powerful in your practice. And again, whether you want to call people, text people, whatever, just reach out to people, contact people, please. You will see that people want to come into your practice, no matter what time of year it is, and especially during the holiday season. So that is a huge way that you can get a lot of business in your practice. Another way that you can get, let me check out the time. Okay, we still have time. Another way that's a lot of fun, I think, it's like an acupuncture game, is to insert acupuncture in every single conversation that you have with anybody. So what I mean by that is that nobody is going to come to you for acupuncture unless they know you're an acupuncturist, and so it is fun to see how many people a day can I let know I'm an acupuncturist. And this is stuff that you do. You don't have to go out of your way to do. You just live your normal life, and you start to insert acupuncture into every little conversation that comes up throughout the day. So for instance, a lot of people ask rhetorical questions, and they don't expect an answer. So when you start to give answers, it's like, what? Huh? Like, you just catch people's attention. It's just a lot of fun. For instance, like, people are always asking, oh, how are you? How you doing? What's up? Like, just stuff like that. And so, let's just say, you know, you are at the post office and somebody in line next to you, just you smile and you say, hey, how you doing? And you're like, you know what? I was just thinking about how relieved my patient was today after I gave her a treatment, because she was just so stressed out about her mom being in town for the holidays. And it just really put a smile on my face. And that patient will be like, I mean, the person you're talking to will be like, what? But generally what this does is just open up a casual conversation with people, and they're like, what were you treating them for? And you're like, oh, I'm an acupuncturist. And then they'll be like, what? I didn't know that that helped with stress from mothers for the holidays. It's just kind of fun. You know, it's fun to see how can you insert acupuncture into conversations everywhere. You could be at the grocery store. You could be at your kid's preschool, you know, and someone could just be like, hey, how was your day? You know, and you could be like, oh, you know what? Like, I was just thinking about all the patients that are booked in my practice for the rest of the week. I feel so grateful to be able to help them. You know, anything like that. And they'll be like, patients, what are you, a doctor? And you'll be like, I'm an acupuncturist. So just have fun with it and insert how that you're an acupuncturist in all different types of conversations. Most people will ask you, what do you do? That's a very common question that you get asked. And it's easy then to answer, yes. Oh, great, yes. It is easy to put into immediate practice, Vicki. Exactly. That's the kind of stuff that I like to teach. It can be very simple, you guys, to have a successful practice. It does not have to be complicated at all. And also, what I'm teaching you is stuff that you do over and over and over and over again forever, basically. You know, like, you don't have to have complicated systems. You don't have to like invest money in marketing. You don't have to use Facebook ads or Google ads or whatever. You just have to have a heart, you know, and care about people, let them know you're there for them, and then have fun, you know. And so this little acupuncture thing can just kind of be like a fun game to be like, how can I insert acupuncture into this conversation? And then, like I said, most people will just ask you like, what do you do? And that's very easy, because then you could just say, oh, I'm an acupuncturist. However, you never want to just say, I'm an acupuncturist. Make sure, you guys, that you always, always, always follow up with, have you ever had it? Because it's so important to know that, because that engages somebody in an acupuncture conversation with you. Instead of just, I'm an acupuncturist, like hit a wall, people don't know what to say to you because they don't know, they're confused about acupuncture. You say, I'm an acupuncturist, have you ever had it? That opens up a whole conversation of that person either saying yes or no. And from there are a lot of other ways to answer how they respond. And I teach that, you know, in my course, on free webinars, other stuff. If you haven't seen that, you can find that information out there. I am having a free webinar actually the end of next week, so we might be going over that in that free webinar. I have to check my information. But just start with these basics that I'm talking about, of insert acupuncture into as many conversations as you can. And if someone specifically says, what do you do? And you say, I'm an acupuncturist, don't only say that, you know, say, have you ever had it? And open up that connection and conversation and curiosity about the other person. And, you know, just be this fountain of giving without any intention, without any agenda. Because you are doing your visualization every morning that we talked about. That is the only intention that you have to have. And then otherwise, you just get to go out into the world, live your normal life, engage people in acupuncture conversations, take action and send out emails and let people know that you're there, again, without trying to get anything back, without any intentions, any agenda. Don't make anything mean anything. You know, we're meaning-making machines. Don't make anything mean anything. Just connect with your pure healer heart. You know, remember why you became an acupuncturist. Because we all have like such cool, unique stories of why we became an acupuncturist. Just connect with that and be out there in the world spreading your enthusiasm and your authenticity and your excitement about the medicine and letting people know that you're there for them. Oh, I see you pop back on. Maybe my time is running out. Okay, let me make one more point. this is a really, 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 really important point. So we're going to close with this point. During this time of year, and any time of year, but especially this time of year, do not discount your treatments, okay? Don't think that you have to discount your fees or do any type of holiday special to get people in your office. You do not. I highly encourage you to never, ever, ever screw with the fees of your practice. Don't ever mess up the money energetics of your practice, okay? Do every other marketing thing, but do not change the prices of your practice, because a lot of times during this time of year, people are projecting their own money mindset fears onto their patients because they have scarcity money mindset. They're thinking about all the money they spent on Christmas gifts and they don't want to spend it on acupuncture. And they're projecting that onto patients. And they're thinking, oh, well, they won't want to pay for a full price treatment, so I'm going to give a discount. So be really aware of also observing how you're thinking about money during this time of year. And if you are thinking about it in a scarcity sense, that there's not enough, or again, it's a switch in how you look at it. Think about how much money people get for presents during this time of year. So people actually have extra money that they can put towards things like this. It's all in your perspective, you guys. So do not discount your treatments. Okay, I see that you're back on the screen here. I'll just stop talking, see what's happening.
So funny. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. This is, the tune-up treatment.
Yeah.
The first time I heard it was from you.
Yeah.
And I use it in my day-to-day treatments. Great. So like after I've done, like someone comes in for a back pain and we're done with their back pain, I say, well, now we're going to set you up for a tune-up regimen. And so they already like have heard about it. They're familiar with it.
Exactly.
And the other thing that I've heard you talk about forever is say, oh, I'm an acupuncturist. Have you had it before?
Yeah.
And I meditate a lot. Like you have been probably meditating consistently for 6 years and I've gotten better. It's really great, but we always have stuff that we have to work on. And for me, it's definitely been self-esteem, like confidence. I've had issues with shame because I also went through abuse and things like that. And at the beginning, I'd be like, oh, I'm an acupuncturist. And like, I could feel like my voice trembling and like the embarrassment. And then I would say, have you had it before? But I would say it with such fear, like almost like, please don't answer me. Like I want to crawl under a rock. But it's gotten better, and I've had the most amazing responses. One time I had this guy, I said, oh, I'm an acupuncturist, and he kind of just like glazed over. I was like, oh, that's interesting. I said, well, have you had it before? He's like, I don't know what that is. I've never heard of it. And I'm like, we're in Miami. Like, there's so many people here that it's like New York, like who has never heard of acupuncture? And this guy lovingly and innocent said he had never heard of it. And I went into a panic. I said, oh my God, I have this huge responsibility of being the first person to explain what acupuncture is. I can either like make his life amazing or like completely traumatize him. And
what happened?
He thought it was the coolest thing. And I was like, I was with my girlfriend and then he left and I said, oh my God, did I do okay? Like, did I sell it? Did I, do it justice? She's like, yeah, you're fine. It's great. But I'm like, so much pressure. But it's totally. The things that you teach, everything that you teach today is so simple. Yeah. And the piece is that clarity, but also to be able to connect with people.
Yes.
In a very, very simple way. And sometimes, like you said, we kind of just make it into something that it's not because of our own programming, our fears, our insecurities, our belief systems, our stories.
Exactly. You're making such powerful points right now because, after 6 years of coaching acupuncturists, that's why I'm coming out in January with an emotional intelligence course, because like you can have all these very simple ways of filling your practice, but there's so much going on inside each of us that is stopping us, and it is our self-worth things and our insecurities and all this stuff that gets triggered when we do go to just say one simple line of, have you ever had it? And then all of a sudden it's like, and that's when you see, whoa, that's what I need to work through. And that's what's stopping me from this success. Because even if we don't, even if you're not saying like, I feel very insecure saying this right now, like people energetically pick that up, and so then they're not going to feel confident having you as a practitioner. So there's so much of that emotional, energetic subtleties that gets in the way of our success, and that's what I keep saying. It can be very simple to run a practice. It can be very simple systems, but what's complicated is us, and that's why we need to understand ourselves emotionally, and really bring an awareness to everything that's going on and stopping us. I coach a lot about this in the support group for the 6-figure program. And that's why I have the ongoing support group, because I know, listen, learn these systems, but then you're going to have a whole bunch of triggers come up when you start to try and put them in practice, and that's the stuff that we need to get into and work through, and so, like keep it simple with these systems. Keep it simple because they work. And then observe what gets triggered in you and know that that's what you need to pay attention to. And that's what you need to work on in order for these systems to work and your practice to fill up. That is absolutely exactly spot on it. But like you said, with practice, it gets better. Everything gets better with practice. It really does.
Yeah.
So we have hope.
Yes, and there's something that you also said, and before I say this, everyone that's watching, take this opportunity. If you have any questions or comments or insights that you got through Alyssa's webinar today, write them in the chat box, share it with us. I know that she would love to read them and see and hear about them. But and now I forgot what I was going to say.
Oh, it's okay. Some other point I made, I don't know.
The human experiment. So you talked about how, you went to CERN and it was 5% matter to 95% energy.
Yeah.
And then using your own life as a human experience, and observing yourself. And a lot of yoga studios and new age classes and self-awareness and meditation talk about this, but I don't think people really grasp what that means. And the way that you put it as using your life as a human experiment to analyze is such a beautiful way, because you are testing your wisdom all the time. Like you see the water is going to start falling to the right. Well, let's test that experiment. Like there's different ways to do that, and to be able to do that in such a beautiful profession that we have as acupuncturists. That everything does respond to energy. Your patients are always going to respond to the way that you feel, what you're thinking, the way that you carry yourself. So I really love that you shared that. So thank you.
Oh, good. Yeah. I mean, that's everything. That I just had actually acupuncturist write to me about, she was actually at my live workshop in London. So she learned all the emotional intelligence of the practice success. And a big part of that too is self-care. And so patients will really respond to that energetically too. Whatever you just said just reminded me of that, because she said she started to notice how when she was exhausted, that her patients wouldn't respond as well and they would cancel more, and she started to notice that connection. And when she wasn't feeling that way, her practice was more abundant. And so that's exactly it. It's just observing what's going on, and starting to put the pieces together, because things don't happen randomly. I don't believe in luck or coincidence at all. Everything is synchronistically connected, and it is just a response to whatever we're thinking or putting out there. whatever input we're getting, you know, all that stuff. And so, yeah, like it's fun to use your life as a human experiment. And we have an amazing opportunity because we're dealing with people in our practice and our business, you know, and so to observe, yeah, how am I thinking? How am I feeling? How am I taking care of myself? You know, what's going on in me? And then what's going on in my outer world? You know, what's going on in my practice? How are my patients responding? You know, and start to connect things together, you know, because it's oneness. It's all oneness, you know, we're 95% energy, you know, so we are just continuously feeling things and responding to that stuff, you know, for sure, like for sure.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's beautiful when you allow it to like kind of sink in and digest that simple fact. We are 5% matter, 95% energy, and that is scientifically proven by the world's greatest physicists and scientists at CERN. Like, it's not hocus pocus.
No.
It's not, you know, new agey. Yeah. It is a scientific fact.
And they have no conclusive way of studying that energy yet. 95% of our world, no conclusive way of studying it. You know, and so what? You know, like, of course I'm gonna use my mindset and visualize then, you know, and see what happens, because that's 95% of our world. That's crazy, you know? That's amazing. You know, I mean, like, if you just start to wrap your brain around that, that's mind blowing, you know? So that's why I'm like, listen, I don't need like hard conclusive evidence. I'm going to start to play around with the energetics of the universe, you know, because why not? You know, imagine if we went an entire lifetime and we never allowed ourselves to like believe in that part of the world, and we never played around with that part of the world. And imagine if that is actually what is the truth and the reality of the world, and we never even dibbled and dabbled in it. That's such a funny word, dibbled and dabbled. I never say that word. I don't know where it came from, but we never even dibbled and dabbled in it because we were just like so stuck in the 5% matter and reality and negative, you know, pessimistic mindsets that a lot of people have, you know, so like play around with things, play around with it, you know, like, who knows what will happen? But I do know what I see in acupuncturists after acupuncturists after acupuncturists that I coach, you know, and are in my programs. You know, so for me, you guys have been a human experiment for me. You know, the acupuncture profession has. But like, it's been incredible what I've seen happen, you know, and the success of acupuncturists and the momentum of such a positive, supportive collective and working on the mindsets, you know, like, I mean, it's really powerful. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, have fun.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you so much. So I see you guys don't have any questions for Alyssa today.
You didn't write anything. It's okay.
No, and for me, that's a good sign. That's a sign that you were obviously very clear and concise, and you guys all got the information and everything that she shared. So I'm just like super excited to have been able to do this with you. I truly hope that we could continue this relationship and collaborate more. Like, there's obviously a lot of really good conversations that we can have.
Yes.
Yes, you're definitely like my tribe. So
and you know, I always say, if anybody has anything specific that they want me to teach on, that you're stuck on, that you're challenged on, you know, let us know. Because yeah, we're gonna continue to do these little broadcasts next year. So if you need anything, you know, I'm all over online. Just find me online. Just email me or find me on Facebook or whatever. You know, I'm here for you guys. I am here to help our profession succeed, you know. And I do always have tons of free stuff, you know, happening. Like next week, there is a live webinar. I'm actually having a little chat with Peter Denman next week. We're going to talk about a really interesting conversation. If we think acupuncturists should learn herbs or not. And we actually have different opinions on this. So it'll be a fun conversation.
That is really great. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. So everyone stay tuned for that. make sure you sign up for her email. Website is Alyssa Dazet with a Z.com.
Oh, no, that's not my website.
No.
That's like my old website from when I
Okay.
had my acupuncture practice. But now I do the coaching full time. So my coaching website is sixfigureacupuncturist.com. Wait, I'll just put it in.
Okay, you put it.
That other one, yeah, is, but that won't get you any of the business stuff.
Okay.
That just was when I had my acupuncture practice. That was my website. That's the business.
I apologize for the confusion. And make sure you sign up for your email list. You get the Monday emails, which are really inspirational, quick read. Also, it's not time consuming like so many other emails that people send. So it's really great. And stay tuned for next year. We'll be bringing more exciting topics and conversations like this. And like she said, email us with any of your requests. We could probably, again, just host Alyssa and Peter Denman and have them redo their argument on should we do herbs or not. I mean, I think that's amazing. I'm looking forward to that. I'm definitely going to watch.
Yes. Yeah, I'm excited for that conversation. That's on Monday. Good. And and if you're on my email list too, I always send out what events I'm having when. I mean, it's all on my social media. It's everywhere. Just find me online.
Thank you so much for being here with me. It's been an honor and a pleasure to get to know you and to chat with you. And I hope all of you watching that you enjoyed. Thank you for supporting FASOMA. If you are not in Florida, go support your state association. It is super, super important for our profession to continue to grow and evolve. So thank you, everyone, and we will see you next time. Bye.